Hello YouTube, today I come at you with another review for the Godzilla and Shimo 2-pack by Playmates. I've been putting off getting these two for a while because I thought they looked bad, but after actually seeing them in person, they're pretty alright and pretty decent for what they are. So before we take a look at Godzilla and Shimo here, we're going to look at the packaging as usual. So I'm going to move these two goobers off to the side. Okay, he's gonna stand. The box is pretty big and pretty chunky, because it has to fit two decently sized figures in it. But the box has this nice red background with a few stalagmites in the back. Godzilla and Shimo's pictures there with Godzilla X Kong the New Empire. Great movie, by the way. Four-piece diorama set, exclusive figures, which I think means the paint job of them is different from the normal ones. The back of the box is just showing them off with the cardboard diorama that it includes. And honestly, this is a really nice promotional image. It looks pretty good. Just has some legal stuff, a advertisement for the movie, basically. Set inclusion, two-piece bone cage diorama, two hollow earth crystal dioramas, Godzilla, Shimo, Frostbite, Breath, and Heat Ray. So Godzilla's atomic breath. The bottom of the box is, I almost dropped it, is nothing more than just showing you what it has. Some legal stuff over here, Playmates, the company that made it, and also an advertisement for the Godzilla, Scar King and Godzilla diorama set. So all in all, it's a pretty nice box and looks really, really good, and it's very eye-catching. So there's not really a ton to this. It's a very simple box and very simple inclusion, but it's well presented and looks good. So we're going to take a look at Godzilla and Shimo first before the other stuff that's included in the box. It's kind of hard to get him to sit up here, but let's take a look at Shimo first before Godzilla. So Shimo herself looks pretty damn good, honestly. I wasn't expecting them to be this aesthetically nice, but once I got them in hand and looked at them for a few minutes, yeah, they look pretty good. Shimo is one of the villains turned good guy in the movie, and she looks pretty decent, honestly. There's a lot of nice painting and sculpting going on here. The crystals on her back, her head, and her tail all look fantastic. They're very well sculpted, and they are a very soft sort of plastic, so they won't shatter or break, and they're not sharp either. They're all very soft. But they look really nice and are very well sculpted and seated into the back. And the same goes for her tail. Absolutely, I really dig the paint job, honestly. It looks really good. A lot of white with a slight blue undertone on the underside of the body, whereas the sides are white. The bottom of her is covered in a very soft, light, thin layer of blue paint, and it looks really, really nice, honestly. I don't know how well it's showing up, but it is there, and it's very, very pretty to look at. The head is slightly bizarre, though, because this ridge is a much cleaner white than the rest of her head, the front end, but overall it looks good. And her eyes are just two tiny little blue dots. Now, the sculpt and paint on Shimo is really, really good. For a cheap figure, it's genuinely fantastic. Now, articulation as well, cheap figure, but it's good. What's there is good. So, starting at the tail is a very soft yeah, it's not that soft, but it's kind of soft plastic, but it can't really bend. It's sculpted in this shape permanently, but it is plugged in on a ball joint, so you can swivel the tail around about this much, and of course rotate it all you want, so it goes up and down, side to side, and just swivels around inside of that socket, so the tail's not that bad. The hind legs do not have any outwards movement, so they can't move away from her body. They can only kick forward that far, back very far, and they stop at about there, yeah. The ankle has rotation, can go all the way around, of course. That's all. That's it for the back legs. They're individually the same, of course. Now her front legs are more interesting. They can still swivel and rotate all the way around. They also have that ankle rotation all the way around, but her front legs can spread out and rotate, so they have a functional ball hinge socket for the shoulder, so they're way more mobile and they look good too. Her head, she can look down that far, look up about that far. The head can rotate all the way around. I'm just showing you. And her mouth can open. It's a little tight. There we go. Her mouth can open with a tongue and some decently painted teeth in there as well, honestly. The sculpting looks a little silly and a little ridiculous, but it is there. And now Shimo's accessory is her frost breath ray. And this is actually really neat looking. Very well sculpted and very nice transparent blue plastic. It looks really, really decent, honestly. And now this peg plugs into the roof of her mouth, I believe. And there, she's firing her ice beam. It actually looks and works pretty decently well for what it is. And it's plugged in there decently. I don't have it seated all the way, but if I did, it would be a much better connection. But it looks really good. She looks, visually speaking, fantastic. Can I get it all the way in there? It's kind of at a weird angle. Okay, that's as far as it wants to go with the mouth closed. So it's going to have that little bit of wiggle no matter what, pretty much. But it's good. It's really good. Come on, take it out. There we go. So Shimo, for a cheap figure, I'm going to give her an 8 out of 10. The sculpt and paint looks really good. Visually, she's really pretty. And I dig her. This is a very good addition to the collection. She looks good. Articulation is not the biggest deal to me when it comes to cheaper low-end stuff, but she does really good. Fantastic paint, fantastic sculpts, decent accessory inclusion. Not half bad. So Shimo gets an 8 out of 10, I think. So let's move on to Godzilla. Godzilla equally looks really damn nice. He looks really, really blue and green and pink, and I love it. He looks fantastic. His eyes are nice and vibrantly orange, with some black pupils painted on there. They look really decent. His eyes aren't that bad, honestly. His dorsal plates look fantastic, though. They're all a transparent pink plastic. They're soft too, but his dorsal plates look stellar. It's not showing up super well on my camera, unfortunately, but they look fantastic. And down his tail, they're all just painted on instead of individually sculpted, so they aren't really as good looking, but it's still nice. His whole tail is soft, but is sculpted permanently in the position it's in, and so are the spikes, so they won't break or shatter. They're just going to squish a little bit. The tip of his tail looks really mean. I love it. But Godzilla himself kind of has that same blue to the bottom of his body. So his stomach, legs, thighs, the bottom of his tail, he looks really nice. The arms are also a very soft, a lot of rubbery soft plastic is going on here, which honestly I don't mind. It just means there's less to break. But it also looks really nice. Now, Godzilla's articulation is virtually identical except for his arms. So his tail can move inside of the socket it's plugged into, rotate, of course, and it can move about as much as the sculpt will allow it to. Legs kick back that far, forward that far. He has an ankle rotation as well, and his legs aren't symmetrical. They're kind of sculpted completely differently in a different position. So this leg, his left leg, is further back than his right. And so are his arms. They're also a bit different. His right arm is reaching out further than his left. And honestly, I like that. Now, the arms only have that up and down rotation to them. They can go all the way around. They cannot move out. There's no elbow, but it's not a big deal. His head can rotate, I think. Oh, his head does not want to rotate whatsoever. Like, there's a cut for it, and it is moving, but... Okay, it just wants to fight and go back into the position it's in. Alright, I'm not going to mess with that. Technically, his head can rotate, mine just won't. But he has an opening mouth with a decently painted tongue and teeth. And frankly, I think he might be the favorite of the two, simply because he's Godzilla. And his accessory is his pink atomic breath. And it looks really good. Just pop that into the roof of his mouth, if I can get it at the right angle. I did it earlier. There we go. There we go. So his atomic breath is plugged into his mouth and looks really good. So overall, I give the two of these, Godzilla and Shimo, an 8 out of 10 each because they're both pretty cool looking. And they serve their job as cheap figures. So an 8 out of 10, honestly. The sculpt and paint's fantastic on them. Genuinely. So, you know, they're pretty good. Moving on to the last accessory. Technically, it's an accessory, I guess. I'm only going to show one of these. It has 2 sheets with the same stuff on them. But the diorama pieces are these cardboard cutouts. I didn't take them out because I'm not really planning on using these. But it does come with 3 of these. There are 2 sheets, so this one and this one. So it comes with doubles. So, you know, you get 6 of these total, 4 of these crystals total. And I just didn't pop them out because I don't really see a need to. I'm not going to use them. But they are included, and they look decent at least. And frankly, this is a really good 2-pack. The whole set gets a 10 out of 10, in my opinion. I like them. Oh, I just noticed. Oh no, there's a little bit of paint missing on those spikes right there. Right here. Oh no. Well, that doesn't detract from the rating. But nah, overall these two are great. 10 out of 10 for the whole set included. Godzilla and Shimo themselves get an 8 out of 10. Accessories, I don't know what else they could have included, so 10 out of 10 for the accessories. The packaging is nice. And overall, this whole set, playset, gets a 10 out of 10 from me. I like it. A lot more than I was expecting to. I don't want you bumping Samus over here, so move a little bit. But nah, this set's really good. Really good. I think it was about 35 bucks. So if you guys are interested, you might want to pick them up. They were cheap and good. And I dig this set. Anyways, I hope y'all have a good one, but I'm out. This review was pretty fun. These two are fantastic. 10 out of 10 for the whole playset. Anyways, I'm gonna dip. I hope y'all have a good one. And I'm out for this video. Bye-bye.